Hey, good morning, everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about how the narcissist, they didn't want to lose you. Even though it may seem that way, they didn't want to lose you, and this is why. Let's jump in. So basically what it is you hold the power, whether you know it or not. See, they don't want you to know this, but you're the one with all the power. So somebody who has all of the commodity, like for instance, if you have all of the wealth, okay, and you're giving it to somebody freely, then you're the one with all the power. When you decide to stop giving them wealth, then they go broke. You know what I mean? So, or they don't have anything else, or if you have oil, they're out of gas. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the narcissist doesn't want you to know. And that's why a lot of times they want to come in real quick, because they need to gain through fake love, fake empathy, faking empathy. They have to wear that mask and get you to fall for them. And they have to love bomb you, meaning they're not going to love you just like anybody else, but they're going to love you like 3 times as much. And you'll have never experienced that in your life. So you'll be in a state of euphoria. The dopamine be kicking, y'all. They like it and you like it. So it's good. It's like bliss for a minute, but it's all fake. It's all just so they can get you to trust them real quick, so they can hijack your emotional field. And once they get that and get you to trust them, they test you a few times, but then they got you hooked. They got you trauma bonded. So that's when they start to devalue you. The hot and the cold, the back and the forth, go back to a little bit of love bombing, give you a little bit of breadcrumbing in the love bomb phase again, and then go back to devalue, then discard you hard. And then they got you hooked. That's pretty much how it goes. But this is the deal. They can't wear that mask for very long. So the longest they can really, even if you're wondering about new supply and is the new supply fixed them, whatever you're thinking, no, they're going to do the same thing they did with you. It'll probably be harder or worse, especially if you woke up and you knew what you were dealing with and you discarded them. Because what the deal is they can only go tops like 5-6 months wherein in a relationship. Usually most narcissists, that's what you're going to get, and then you're going to turn into cycles. And that's usually with the primary supply in the first cycle in the love bomb phase. So you're talking about the cycles dwindle down to like 2 to 3 months after that. But the problem is they get in your head, and then they can leave you but still have you. They can leave you but still be siphoning off your fuel, right? That's why I say you have to unplug from them. You want to detach, and you want to get them hooks out, and you want to cut them cords, because they don't love you. They just love your fuel. And they can't love, but they can attach, like through, say, emotionally connected ways. And it's kind of turns into a spiritual thing at some point. It's like metaphysical, spiritual to some degree. It's all of those intertwined. How about that? It's like a 3-bound cord, rope. It's like metaphysical, spiritual, and psychological all twisted together. And so that's why it is so difficult. And then they have sex with you so that they can get, when they do that, it's like as much as they have the ability to read individuals, when they get to having sex with you and stuff, they can hit you on an emotional, read you on another level of another field, another plane. And then that's where you get those soul ties and all that love connection. It connects them to where they're addicted to you and you're addicted to them after performing all this hot and cold. But what they want from you is they never wanted to lose you, but what they wanted to do was love bomb you and then leave you and discard you, break you down enough to where when they're gone, that you're in the pits, you're isolating yourself, and you're kind of down in the dumps. And that is all so that they can regulate their self-esteem while they're gone. That way they can watch you and stalk you. Sometimes when they stalk you, it's they feel happy when you're down, because they know that they can get you back, and they also know they're living a better life than you, and they know they caused these things to happen in your life, so they feel power and control over you. It's all power and control. And they also know that they can come back whenever they want, and that nobody else is going to take you, and you're not going to go looking for anybody else because you're so hurt and you have no fuel to give anybody in a new relationship, or to even want to have the fuel to even get out of bed and barely go to work. So that's kind of part of why they devalue and discard you so hard. And it does get worse if you stay with it, or at least stays the same, but it affects you worse because now it's going from, like I said, it starts in your mind, but it can go into your heart. And over time, when these patterns start to really, they can give you, in my opinion, they can give you narcissistic traits yourself over time. And it can also, they call it the fleas, but I think that you can actually have them stick, kind of, if you start to form your own habits. You won't become a narcissist, but you would get traits where you can kind of perform to some degree, in some ways like them from just being with them over time. It's not good for you. You become a mirror image of people you're around. I mean, over time, it says that, in a lot of theological studies. But anyway, they don't just invest in you like that either. So I wanted to go over that because they invest in people that they want to keep. They don't invest in a lot of times, tertiary supply, and usually secondary supply could be old primary supply. It usually is. But usually they find a couple and they go back and forth between them, but usually only one's an empath and one's like maybe narcissistic or narcissist. And so they like those, both the good and the evil kind of thing. They may switch it up like that, but then they'll have another 2 or 3 people in their harem on the outskirts that they will see. So you're talking about a harem for a narcissist, typically about a total of about 5 people, 4 or 5 people. And then what they do is they go to you, and then they can only spend like 4 or 5 months with you tops. I mean, that usually it's like 3. So then after you, then they go to the other supply. They'll spend a few months with them, and then they'll want to come back to you, and then they'll want to go back to them, and then they'll want to be with another person in the harem, for instance, for a short time, whatever, fling, whatever, and then come back to you. But you are the center of the fuel matrix, meaning it's kind of like if it's a body, you would be like the trunk, like the main trunk, and then the secondary, tertiary supply would be like the arms and the legs. But you kind of like regulate the whole thing because you're the one that's regulating 80% of the narcissist fuel. So if you're gone, it's like, what can the legs and the arms do without a body? You know what I'm saying? I mean, technically a body, without legs and arms can still work. But I'm saying so that's why the primary supply is a big deal. But the thing is they're consistently inconsistent, meaning that they are faking, or they can't keep up the facade that they are trying to put on for you initially, right? So it's a fake. And how you know someone's fake or they can't continue to perpetuate whatever they started with you is when they become inconsistent. Inconsistency shows that there's a problem. They're either faking or they got other issues. It could be addictions and stuff. But anyway, nevertheless, they are consistently inconsistent, meaning they can't. The problem is they're always going to be that way. And they're always going to do what they do. See, meaning like what I'm telling you, that was like a cycle of the narcissist, but that's what they're going to do all the time. They are playing with you. It's like a chess game, right? So they're playing with you, and that they always got to keep you in a chaotic state to keep you, to stay in your head, and for you to believe it, so they can knock you down. And the only way to knock you down is through the words and the things that they do. But you have to believe that you are that, or that they're telling you the truth or something. At least it's got to be credible, or you got to be gaslit into convincing and into believing that it's credible. And that's why you want to go no contact, because it's a spell. At some point, it's kind of like witchcraft. It's something that is performed over you in a certain sort of way to where it's like Stockholm syndrome. So that's what they're always going to do. Nevertheless, however, it doesn't matter how perfect you are, they got to leave you and go to somebody else and come back. That's what they're cyclic, just like seasons. there's 4 seasons to a year. Well, there's 4 seasons to a narcissist, meaning like they may spend, summer and spring with you, but then winter and fall with the narcissist, another narcissist or another narcissistic person or something, or somebody else. And then in between, they're going to be cheating on you with the other 3 people from the harem. Maybe the other one's got money. The other one will take them on trips, and they love, getting wine to dine from the other one, sex from the other one. It's like, this is how it works. What can you do for me? They look for people that supply for them. That's it, that supply their needs. That's what supply is. They need to not be alone and get their needs supplied, and they will go with anybody, good looking or ugly, for fuel to supply that. And when you meet them in the love bomb phase, they come in vulnerable and you pump them up and you watch them glow and stuff. And then their family and friends will be telling you how well they're looking and how much you're doing for them, because you're grade A supply. You're not like the others. You perform differently, and you have the ability to dive into them. And because they put you through that love bomb phase, and you also can see that they have a need for healing, and then they keep telling you that nobody's ever invested into them like you have, and then you get high off that, and then you start dumping more and more fuel into them. And then what it does is you're puffing them up like a little bit of leaven or yeast spoils the whole lump. You're pumping their ego up by telling them how good they are, how well they're doing, how pretty they look, and their charisma, and how everything is on point. Meanwhile, you are then it's like when it starts to get into devalue mode, you start dumping more and more. Like, I don't want to lose this, because now they got you hooked. And it's almost like now you think that you're turning them off somehow, or you don't have you just don't want to lose them. So you start pouring more and more into them, and it makes it worse because they're a shell, and you're filling up that shell and you're pumping them up. And that's why they discard you so hard, and they're so pompous when they do it. But then they have to run a smear campaign on you if you discard them, because if you catch on, you start catching on to their lies and calling them out on it and stuff. You forcing them to do a discard early, and they may not be ready for that. But that injures them because they're very sensitive. So when you start calling them out on the stuff, their lies and how they're fake and stuff, and you start telling them to go cook themselves and make their own meals and go drive yourself and clean yourself and whatever, then you're injuring them on a daily basis, and you're supposed to be subservient and basically their servant. That's what they're used to. And when you start doing that, it's like dumbfounding to them. But then they have to force discard you because they're so sensitive. They can't handle that kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll rage at you because they want you to walk it back. They want you to apologize. But if you don't apologize, they're going to have to keep it moving. And that's early a lot of times. Maybe they're not ready to do that. But they will do it because of the pride in their ego. And they can never, admit and accept their faults. So when this happens, then they have to run a smear campaign on you because they start saying that, you're trying out to destroy them and all this stuff. The same thing they're doing to you, but they start saying it because you have given them so much fuel and now it's not there anymore, or you're drawing it back. If you're smart and you're able, not smart, but if you're able to heal, the quicker you can heal, the quicker you're going to get your power back and draw back from them so they can't siphon off you, because that rumination is them kind of siphoning off you in a spiritual level or an emotional level. So that's why they feel that way, because now they're losing all of that vitality that they have been getting off you. It's like a vampire that's getting the best blood with full of adrenaline or something, and then now it's not available to them anymore because that person's left or something and they can't be found. And the other forms of supply don't give like that, and they don't have the ability to do that, and they don't have an innocence to them. They don't have truth to them. They don't have, you were also behind the scenes cleaning up all their messes because you cared for a time. So you are making them look like a good covert narcissist, you know, so they don't want to discard you. They want to play with you for the rest of your life. But when you take that crown back off of their head that they took from you and you put it back on and you readjust it, see, they think you were the dumbest one in the bunch, but you're the one that, you know, you caught on quick, and they took your empathy and your vulnerability for weakness. It wasn't weak. It's just you've been through a lot of stuff yourself, man. And so you can sympathize and empathize with people, and they just can't do it. And when you heal and you keep it moving, they're very angry about that, because they want to heal, but they can't. But they could have, because so many people have that have done or dealt with the same things they have. Everything is choices, and a lot of people have had a lot of tough roads, and some harder than others, and some very, very tragic. So I don't judge, but at the end of the day, you can't change what happened in the past. Nobody can. All you can do is leap out into your future. And if anybody, that's for everybody. The past is dead. You have to either start today if you're going to do something new and make changes. And the narcissist just could never accept that. And they got to a point to where they somehow found favor in this. They liked it enough to form a construct around it, and they were okay with it at least. Anyway, if you can give me a like, a subscription, and a thumbs up, I love y'all. Till next time, peace, we out.